So this is the first stop on the train. I'm not super confident on it. It's certainly not as good as the 89, 90K level. But we'll have to see if we get any kind of. Honestly, a bounce back here at 100K, 300 would be really good because, like I said in the last stream, it's really tight between all these invalidations that were posted up when we had that wick down at around 101, 102. And the distance between that, where all these invalidations are, and we're seeing them get flushed out right now, and 100,370 is pretty fucking tight, right? That distance between them. So a bounce there would be really impressive. I don't know if we're gonna get it. You know, with the fragile market structure that Bitcoin was showing, paired with the fact that the S&P is down in a big way today, right? S&P down nearly 1%. It was just a perfect fucking storm for Bitcoin to dump. Pumping here actually would not be that great. It's a little bit of a front run. It's actually better to go a little bit lower and tag the full accumulation because front running this could get a little spooky. It's about close enough, so it's kind of hard to tell. But if we hit free fall, which, you know, it might happen today, then you guys know what to look for, right? Talked about this plenty of times. 89K is pretty much the decider of whether or not we are going to remain in an upward bull market for the next foreseeable future, or if we're heading into, you know, a year of bear market. I had nightmares from your video. It was spooky as a motherfucker. Hey man, you know, what can I say, dude? If it looks bad to me, I'm gonna say it. And I mean, I don't want it to dump, right? Particularly this bad. This is fucking brutal, guys. A 5% drawdown is pretty bad in a day. Yeah, it's getting a bit spooky here. So if you don't know, usually, and this is kind of a meme. I talked about it last stream a bit too. Usually in Bitcoin, there's 4 years up and 1 year down. 4 years up, 1 year down. We just hit the 4-year mark up earlier in October, unfortunately. I'm not a huge believer in that kind of shit, but it is fucking crazy, right? Like that early October we hit the what would be the end of the 4-year up cycle if it's all synced up, and now we're actually getting these bigger moves to the bottom side. So that basically what that would mean if it does come to fruition. By the way, I'm not a huge believer in it, but it is spooky. What that would mean is that we'd be in a bear market until December or Q4 of next year. I don't think that, just so everyone's aware, that's what usually happens in Bitcoin, but yeah, I don't know if that dynamic is really there. So I'm still going to do all my normal stuff. I'm not going to just subscribe to that idea that we're in some kind of, you know, cycle that is so perfectly easy to time. I think honestly, the Max Payne thing would be us not following that cycle. So I'm still going to look at the structure regardless and make sure that, you know, I'm doing what I normally do and stick to my principles. I'm just letting you know that's what a lot of people seem to believe, and it has happened at least 3 times in the past. So this is number 4 if it happens again. But like I said, I'm not a big believer of that. If we can hold here, Bitcoin's back in business. We'll likely get another all-time high sooner than later. I don't think we're gonna wait till we're not gonna have a year of a bear market, right? Right now is a pretty big fight, and if we don't hold right now, then we go back into the void. So, you know, we went straight up here, right? There is a little bit of data here, but I didn't really derive anything significant from that structure in terms of what we can look for. Maybe, you know, maybe you see some kind of, you know, structure that develops there, and if that's the case and it looks good, then I'll change my mind. But as far as what we can see and how much data we do have, I would still classify this as kind of a void. So hold now or sink to 90K, hold 90K or bear market. Now if we do see a nice little bounce-arino, which, by the way, it's a falling knife right now. I mean, you're going to be getting in front of a stampede of fear if you're going to try and fight this. You kind of got to let the dust settle a little bit. Why exactly the 89K candle? Because that's where the structure was. So if you remember back at the beginning of the year, you know, Bitcoin had just hit another all-time high. It hit an all-time high in 2024 at the end of the year, and then it went for another one. So Bitcoin goes crazy, goes above 100K for the first time, and now everyone's saying, okay, it's time to long Bitcoin. Like even the bears in this range, you know, there were bears in this range and they kind of got fucked and maybe changed perspective when we got that new all-time high above 100K, right? So if they're bearish here, they're likely going to be bullish here. Anyways, depending on whoever the market participants are, it doesn't really matter, but where were their invalidations, right? We made so many lows that were in the same spot. So we have a clear spot where leverage was going to get flushed out, and a lot of the spot market that was scared, or you know, spot market selling, leverage market getting flushed out. That's a lot of liquidity on the sell side of the market. So we sort of saw this accumulation phase start here, which is a really wide range. So if you don't agree with me in that sense, I understand that because it's a really fucking wide range. But based off how I read structure, this is where the liquidity had conviction. Instead of having a mixture of red and green, it was pretty much all red, right? So that's where liquidity started to happen. You can argue that's where accumulation started to happen. So that's where it's likely to be defended. Now we could wick a little bit into this, right? Depending on how violent the dump gets, we could wick a little bit like that or something. But the good news is we have plenty of room to breathe if that was the case, right? So the distance between basically this line and this line is a lot of breathing room. So yeah, we could go a little bit under 89K. I mean, we could go as far, honestly, we could go as far as like 85K on a wick, like a quick move like that. That would be fine. What you don't want to do is you don't want to, first off, you don't want to get this close to it, because now you've got every single person who longed in 2025 that has not been invalidated. So the longs that are still open perpetually on the 2025, now you have all of them grouped in one spot, right? Everything from this range has invalidations likely here, so stop losses here. And then if we do start to form some kind of range over here, that low, you've got it all clustered together. So you really don't want that to happen. And what would be even worse is if you like hung around here, right? You start building structure here or something. Then you've really got a lot of invalidations in the same spot. So that's no bueno. Like I said, we could dip, you know, as far as like 85 with a quick wick, and this would be fine. This is the ideal scenario. If either one of these two things happen, we're not heading into a bear market. We're likely getting another all-time high, and we'll probably get a big one at that. So that's the first or second area to pay attention to. The first area to pay attention to is where we're at right fucking now, because this never had the high time frame test. So we could get bailed out. The FOMO rally could continue if, you know, we see support come in here. Now there's a couple things that are a little concerning here. Obviously, like I said earlier, the stock market's down pretty big. The VIX kicked up, but it hasn't kicked up to our spot yet. So I'll show that to you in a second, but it's, you know what, I'll fucking show it to you now. VIX is kicking up. Actually, let me do it side by side because it's not saving my chart. Give me 1 second. Okay. Oh god, look at Ethereum, dude. Look at what they did to Ethereum. Alright, so here. So we kicked up on the VIX. We haven't hit we basically got above 20, but I'm eyeballing 21 to 22, 22 to 23, okay? What the chart shows. That's kind of concerning for me that we haven't tagged that. We did get the local one, which is good, but you know, basically to say that maybe the dumping on the S&P isn't done yet. I really hope it's done, because if the dumping on the S&P is done, then Bitcoin can maybe survive here at above 100K. But if it's not done and this sort of comes to fruition, then that means that it should line up with the test at 89K. There's obviously the psychological level too, right? 100K is a big psychological level. You know, people will be likely to bid if we go right when we go under 100K. The question is, will those bids be enough to stop a fucking stampede? We need more fear and MicroStrategy below 230. Gandalf said he will be back on the third day. Yeah, no, it's getting a little bit ruthless here, boys. There's a lot of bids coming in. There's a lot of icebergs that have set up shop, but the price really doesn't give a fuck about those. Now, liquidity is getting thicker, right? We're heading into deeper icebergs. The closer bids are getting thicker, but so is the ask side of the price. The liquidity is thick on both sides of the market. Sometimes you'll see when we dip this far that the ask side of the market will be super thin. But now it looks like, you know, they're scrambling to get delta neutral because of this volatility. You know, you don't always get 5% downward moves on Bitcoin, right? They're trying to get delta neutral here. And so they're going to stack that ask cut side of the book to be able to exit a lot of those positions. we need something to show up in a big way, and it needs to show up soon, or we will continue to deep dive here. So as far as Bitcoin is concerned, this is the first stop on the train. Let me delete all these lines. If we don't hold this, and then the breathing room for this range, by the way, is right here. Oh god, it's happening, boys. It's happening. This is sort of our breathing room here. I'm not going to put a green box because it isn't a green box. You don't really want to get down to 98. So if this doesn't hold, yeah, it's going to get even bloodier. All right, so S&P is just dumping even more. We're down 1.14% on the S&P, boys. It's getting bloody. NASDAQ down big time too. Mag 7 is down pretty hard right now. We got Tesla bleeding and Nvidia bleeding pretty hard. Like I said earlier, MicroStrategy is taking a fucking beating right now, boys, and the structure does not look good on MicroStrategy. Bitcoin needs a lot of help. Now, we're not GG'd. Bitcoin's not dead. So if you don't want to, you know, if you're still a long-term believer in Bitcoin, I'm not saying hit the panic button. I'm just saying that it is getting pretty fucking bad. The good news is it's not too bad on the S&P. In fact, it's actually fine on the stock market right now. Could it get worse? Yes, and I'll let you know if I see it like that. But right now, for the S&P, for the stock market, it actually looks okay. It's not that big of a deal. It looks like it could become one, but until that happens, it's not a big deal. So, stock market still is okay, which is good. It just means that we might have a little bit more dumping on the stock market. If there's more than a little bit more dumping on the stock market, that's when it starts to become concerning. So, I'm good with the having another red day tomorrow on the stock market. In fact, we could continue the red day today, and we'd still be fine. But we are kind of flirting with we're getting close to it not being fine. And that's the main thing I'm looking for when it comes to that is the volatility index, right? If we don't kick above 30 on the VIX, if we don't kick above 50, we're fine. We're back to smooth sailing. But, and where we want to see that rejection happen on the volatility index is around 22 to 23. If all that works out and we see this arrow play out similar to how this arrow played out, then we're fine with the market sentiment coming in from the stock market. So at least that won't be negative hitting the crypto market. But as it stands, you know, with Bitcoin looking kind of spooky yesterday, I talked about it on stream. It looked pretty bad. You guys heard me say we need the stock market to carry Bitcoin. So you've heard me say in the past, you know, when the alt structure broke, I told you we need Bitcoin to carry the alts. Well, Bitcoin didn't carry it. Now we have the Bitcoin structure sort of broke, and we need the S&P to carry Bitcoin. That wasn't the case. So anytime I tell you that the structure is looking like it's breaking, you know, that should raise some red flags. If I say that bigger asset classes market sentiment needs to carry this market sentiment, it's already, you know, kind of, and I talked about that for a while, right? If you need it to be fixed, it's already kind of bad versus if you didn't need it to be fixed. But, you know, it's not GG, boys. We're good. We could just see Bitcoin going a bit lower here under 100K. Now with Ethereum, I want this to line up. If this lines up, then it'll be a chef's kiss here, boys. If we can get 2,900 on ETH at the same time that Bitcoin's at 89K, that would be perfect. And if we see a bounce on both of those, then the bull market is back. That really removes a lot of the doubts in my head. So that's what I need to see. I need to see Bitcoin tag 89 and ETH tag 29 at the same time. We see a big bounce from that level. It doesn't have to be crazy, right? But a pretty sizable engulfing of some sort where we see some kind of momentum shift. That would be you know, the stars aligning, and we'd be good to go to continue the uptrend. But I don't know. The issue is I don't know if Bitcoin's going to hit 89 at the same time that Ethereum's going to hit 29. And by the way, these are all probabilities, right? We could hold it here and now. We don't have to go that low, but as you can see, it is getting bloody. So, you know, I am going to map out where, if it continues to get bloody, I'm going to map out where that could get really bad. And then we could see the nice reversal of it. Okay, we're seeing some short profit taking. This is nice. But yeah, man, the liquidity on the ask side of the book is still pretty solid here. I've seen plenty of dumps while watching liquidity in the books. Normally at this point we'd be seeing even thinner liquidity, so it just seems like, you know, the market's taking a hit. Not gonna lie, you sound stressed as fuck right now. Well, what do you mean, bro? The market's fucking dumping like crazy. Do you not have any equity or any positions in crypto on for the top side? But yeah, man, it obviously is a little bit stressful. I can't lie to you. I mean, the fucking markets are dumping big time. You don't have any exposure in crypto? What's up, Traxy? Traxy gang, welcome, welcome. Traxy, have you joined the Church of the 4-year cycle? Are you a 4-year cycle believer now? I'm not a believer just yet. We still got some more things before I'm gonna be a believer in that. Yes, I am. Oh man. Alright, so first spot, Traxy, that I'm looking for here, and I'm not super confident on this one, is this little sniper. And then the big one, what I was saying, Traxy, is I think if we see a strong bounce from 89, that's really good fluidity in my eyes. And then I would be confident that we'd be able to get in their all-time high. But if we see any of these scenarios here on the lower end, yeah, then it looks like bear market, unfortunately. MicroStrategy is just fucking taking a hit. Everything's taking a hit pretty big time here. Stonks are starting to recover a little bit on the day, but yeah, it's getting bloody, boys. The Dixie's up. That's good news. Crypto fear and greed only at 27 coin market cap more. Yeah, I don't know. The thing was, a lot of the boys were bearish yesterday, which could be an indication of it actually being not as bearish as it might seem. But then you also have to factor in, you know, the people that come around here. I'd like to believe they're a little bit more sophisticated than just the average moon boy who's calling for crazy prices in a quick amount of time. Anyways, this is a big spot to hold. We've already got the proper test on it on the low time frame. We need to hold it here today, or we're gonna go even deeper sooner than later. But we're not down and out yet, boys. This is not GG just yet. We still have some pretty incredibly strong levels to look for, and you guys know I've been talking about the 89K level for pretty much the whole year, and then the Ethereum 2900 level I've been talking about since the summer. So the FOMO rally is starting to be brought back to reality here, and with it being brought back to reality, you know, the blood's getting pretty intense. Let's take a look at the liquidations that have come in so far. All right, so in the last 24 hours, we got 1.1 billion. This is likely more, by the way. It's probably closer to 2 or 3 billion. It's kind of impossible to know, but I'd at least 2x it. But the data we do have says 1.18 billion has been liquidated, and 318,000 traders have been liquidated out of their positions on this dump so far. So 318,000 people have been wiped out just today alone. If this thing continues, you know, we could see even more carnage. So yeah, it's no doubt it's getting bloody. Now, what we saw in October was actually a little bit more, right? We saw 1.5 million traders get liquidated here. And like I said, we're probably closer to 2 or 3 billion, maybe even more liquidations that have happened today. The good news is, you know, funding is creeping back negative across the board. So there is a big sentiment on trying to short this thing, and with enough people shorting it, we could get the firepower we need to actually get a nice bounce here. And again, this is what I was referring to yesterday. Any bounces we see right now, any rallies we see before 89K, I'm going to be kind of skeptical of them. Okay? I'm going to be a little skeptical of them because I need to see the spot market actually driving this. I don't want to see a rally that's inspired by squeezing out shorts. We need actual, you know, we need actual demand in the market at this point. So if I see that, though, I will, you know, change my mind about it. But any little rally we see at this point, I'm going to be a little bit more strict on it in terms of what I'm looking for. I'm not going to be as generous as I have been in the past when we get rallies on Bitcoin until it's proven to me. Because all things considered, when you look at the high time frame structures and then you look at the microstructure that we built in October, when those break, you know, it could be indicative of something even more bloody. But, you know, they're fighting for it right here. This is a pretty big spot, boys. We've got some room to breathe at this area. So basically anywhere in this box is okay. The closer you get to the bottom line, the way worse it becomes. So it's better to hold it at the top line, but, you know, it's getting pretty fucking intense. Urban, how can you tell if the rally is coming from spot and not future liquidations? So I'm looking at two things, right? I'm looking at What do the books look like? So the orders. I'm not a huge order flow guy, but I do like to pay attention to, you know, what kind of orders are we seeing on the spot market. And then the other thing I like to see is, you know, the liquidation. So if I see, you know, basically if I see a bunch of shorts dogpiled in the same area, then I can see, you know, and we pump through that, and then if we can hold that, that shows spot demand. So let's say, let me give you an example. Since we're kind of far from the bigger short liquidations, this isn't going to be the greatest example. But let's say, you know, we managed to get back to 108,000, right? You can see that there's a bunch of short sellers dogpiled here. If we're able to hold it after popping, let's say 108,000, that shows me that there's spot demand, because a lot of the time what happens when you squeeze out shorts is you hit the reverse and you go right back down. So you pump it, squeeze out the shorts, and then you see a big dump, right? If we don't see that big dump, that's showing that the move is actually backed by demand. It's not just a play on the shorts. So that's the two things I'm looking for, right? When the shorts get squeezed, what happens in the price? Does it just go straight back down? If that's the case, then we don't have spot demand. And then the other thing I'm looking for is, you know, what is the spot order books looking like? You know, right now, most people are in the last 6 hours. Most people are just slamming the red button, and their market selling out. If I can see, basically what I want to see now is if we see this market selling continue, right? A lot of people pressing the red button, but the price doesn't go lower. That shows me that there's accumulation, there's sticky demand. So ideally what I want to see is the relationship between the market orders on the spot market and the price. So a lot of market selling plus price not going down, that shows accumulation. And then if we can get that accumulation, next step is to go for the rally so we can take out the short sellers. So the next step after that, so we go for the rally, we take out the short squeezers, and then if we can hold it, right, at critical spots. It's not just about holding it anywhere, it's about holding it after shorts get squeezed. Because I want to see, is it a play on liquidity on the derivative market, or is it actual, you know, sticky demand similar to the accumulation thing? So those are the two things that I'm mainly looking for when I'm trying to differentiate is if a rally is going to have legs to it, if it's actually being defended. Those are both pretty important for me to see at this point, because you know, these structures did break. These structures broke. You got a wave of volatility, which usually inspires another aftershock most of the time. And the insignificant all-time high was pretty pathetic as well. So there's a lot of things on the structure and the price that pointed towards, you know, warnings. And so because we're sort of in those warning areas, it just makes me a little bit more critical of, you know, any kind of rallies we see at this point before we hit the super high time frame supports, which is again 89 to 90k, and on Ethereum it's going to be 2900. Until we hit those areas, anything in between is going to be supported still by this FOMO rally that we saw when we cracked the new all-time highs around 120. But the true ebb and flow of the market, it would have been better to have that retest before we did all this jazz. It was just a lot of FOMO that came in. Like, so for example, this sort of rally that we saw here was big time FOMO. We never got, as you can notice, we kind of went straight up. We never got retests, and ideally what we would have wanted to see was, you know, this bearish divergence play out, get the retest here, and then go for it. If this was the scenario, structure would have been confirmed, and we probably wouldn't be in where we're at right now. But because there was so much FOMO that slammed the market during these times, now we're sort of drifting back to reality. And the true ebbs and flows in the market. So a lot of the people that just dogpiled into Bitcoin after the tariff crash, a lot of those are going to be the same market participants who are scared right now, and they're pressing the red button. So the same type of people that drove this price up here are going to be the same type of people that are going to lean into fear until we get bounced back into reality. Now, we could still, this whole move here could still continue without having to retest the structure. It's possible, but if that happens again, that's why I'm going to be more stringent on the rallies that we see, because you know, this whole move in and of itself, ever since we never got the proper retest of 90k, this whole move has been a strong FOMO rally, and strong FOMO rallies can continue, and they can go and go and go. I mean, look at fucking Nvidia, right? Look at all these other huge fucking rallies that we've seen across the board in the last couple of years, where it's just straight up, no retest low. And if you go straight up with no retest low, you leave behind just this huge void. And so it's starting to be filled right now. So that's why I was still bullish around these areas, because who knows, man, sometimes a FOMO rally can take you really fucking high. But now that the ball has sort of shifted to the other side of the field, we're going back to being grounded in reality, and that's fine. If we hold 89.90, boys, Bitcoin's fine. We're gonna go back on the rocket ship, and we're gonna confirm the structure, and we'll keep this party going to the top side. But you know, it doesn't discount the fact that we are kind of getting absolutely slaughtered on the market right now. It's down 6%. ETH is almost down 10%. I mean, the carnage continues here. Urban Breathe. Bro, it is bloody. And the scary thing is, it's not just bloody in crypto. It's bloody across the board. You got precious metals taking a hit. S&P 500 taking a big fucking hit. You know, oil is kind of alright. Dollar's up. And the 10 years down. You know, the alt market, I'm actually kind of surprised it's not getting hit even harder at this point. Because when ETH is actually dumping the hardest out of a lot of these alts right now, which is pretty surprising. You sound like a guy I worked with in Germany. I don't have the German fucking accent. There goes my wife. Oh yeah, man. So it's gonna be kind of a reunion today. A lot of people are gonna show up probably because it's getting pretty bad. If you guys were here yesterday, a lot of you guys were here yesterday though. You probably heard all the warning signals I gave. Wife aggro. What's up, wife aggro? Why is ICP pumping? Guys, there's always going to be some alts that pump when markets are tanking. Because what are you know, sort of the newer retail traders looking for? They're looking for a safe boat. They're looking for something that's going to pump. So they'll sort their charts by, you know, what's doing good on the 24-hour, and then they're going to try and dogpile into that. So, but I wouldn't trust that pump on ICP. You know, be careful. Pumping in a downward move is not normally a sign of strength. Yeah, the fucking carnage continues here, boys. Look at this. Look at the orders rolling in. I mean, it's getting fucking nuts. Bitcoin's still above 100K, but we're about to go under it for the first time in a while here. We're tapping into the big icebergs now. We're heading into huge icebergs. So we're gonna see a mounted defense at the psychological levels. 100K being a huge psychological level. We're gonna see people step back in, and we're also gonna see people who sold with the intention of buying back lower. Some of them are gonna step back in right now. The question is, will it be enough? So we might get a little something here, but did we dip under 100 there? Almost. Nance hit 100,017. Brother, for real, tell me you weren't deployed as a U.S. Army military police in Germany? No. I wasn't in the military. My grandpa was in World War II. Master Sergeant. Alright, we're seeing some defense here. There we go. That's a nice little engulfing. This is a nice move so far, but again, guys, like I said, I'm not going to change in terms of will these rallies actually have legs to them, okay? Until I see things I need to see, I'm not a believer in these little rallies just yet. So this is a big action day. Get ready for some fireworks. These orders are going to continue to roll in as we get big volatility that slams across the board. Alright, boys, there's some silver lining here. It's not all doom and gloom. The silver lining is that we left behind a lot of fragile bearish market structure. So if we can see that rebound, then we'll be able to retrace a lot of this very quickly. What's the play? Well, it depends how aggressive you are. This is a big spot. This is the first big spot to hold for the exuberant rally. The next big spot, if this does fail, is going to be what I've been fucking saying for a long time now, which is 89.90K. Cancel all orders! No, it's not that bad. It's just, you know, ETH is down 10%, right? It's pretty bloody. It's okay, though. We'll be okay. 92.93? Nah, I want deeper than 92.93 if we're actually gonna fucking get the full capitulation of the FOMO rally. Okay, the iceberg held pretty strong. It looks like we got some front running on the iceberg, but a lot of the time if you see front running on the iceberg and you go back to it, that's where it gets kind of bad, so. Where the fuck is ETH? ETH is down to 32.81 right now. Like I said, though, there is silver lining here. If this holds, which, by the way, there's a good chance it can. It's not guaranteed, but there's a good chance it can at 29. Then what we've left behind is equal highs. So it means basically if we can hold this, it should happen pretty quick, right? It's going to be a little, maybe it'll take a little bit longer than what I'm saying because, you know, you got to restore market sentiment. People are going to be less trusting of these rallies, just like I am at this point, because, you know, you kind of need the spot market to bounce back. And when you have negative market sentiment, it's going to be harder to get the rally going. People are sitting in underwater positions right now, basically saying, like, if you get me back to break even, I'll sell and type. So we got some deep supply pools we have to get through on the way back up, unfortunately. But, I mean, you guys have seen this happen a million times on Bitcoin. Look at this. Look at this bounce back we saw. It was a pretty strong FOMO rally, but this was just absolute carnage, right? It's not even that bad over here compared to this. And then the rally back up was very swift. Couple days yet if you want a daily bull div too, yeah. If you're being that stringent and you need the daily bull div as well, then yeah, it might take a day or probably the rest of the week, honestly, at this point. But we'll see. It's a 116 local top on Bitcoin. It seems like we got front run on shorts for the last 3 opportunities we got. Is this correct on 4 hour? Well, it depends. I mean, this technically wasn't a front run, and the structure break wasn't a front run. You're talking about, which one are you talking about here? This one? Oh yeah, so this one moved down. I mean, it was pretty rapid, yeah. Yeah, it was pretty rapid. No, I'm saying if Bitcoin is hypothetically at 89, ETH is at what, 28? I don't know yet. That's what I would like to see. Yeah, I'd like to see that. What's the target if what's the ETH target if Bitcoin is at 89? I want it to align perfectly. I want ETH to align at 29 when Bitcoin's at 89. That would be perfect. I don't know if it will though. You know, when we look at the ETH Bitcoin chart, it is kind of damaged at this point. We could see a retest now, sub 0.03 on ETH Bitcoin. We could see the more higher time frame retest at this line here, which is 0.02987. So pretty much 0.3, I guess. But I missed the start of the stream getting a trim. Do I have to wait a full week for a Twitch VOD? Yeah, that's what someone said earlier. They were kind of upset they weren't able to see the VOD, and I feel kind of bad about that. So maybe what we'll do is we'll do, like a day or two after I'll post the VOD. Because the people that weren't here yesterday weren't really, if they didn't see the VOD, then they didn't know that I was flipping a little bit, I didn't fully flip, but I got a little bit closer to neutral and bearish here. Unfortunately, because of all the things that transpired. But the VOD from last week when I told you guys that the structure broke on Bitcoin, I think that is released, so. Alright, come on, Biddy. We're mounting a defense here. We almost kissed under 100k. I'm sure on some of the exchanges it actually did. So this is the kind of thing I was talking about. This is what I want to see. Okay, this is good. So you see how this volume node down here is red, and then you have the bright red, right? This is telling me that in the last hour, in the last 45 minutes, more people have pressed the red button than the green button, but the price went up. So that's showing some kind of sticky accumulation here. This is good. Now, we have to maintain it, and we need to see the bids actually backrun this, because liquidity is getting a little bit thinner now here. The good news is it's thin on both sides. It's also thin on the ask side of the market. This is a good sign so far. And we hit a pretty critical spot on fluidity here. So we just tagged this one, which I was talking about. So the FOMO rally is mounting a defense here. Right? You guys remember in the previous recording I talked about this one right here, which is this line, which we just tagged. Alright. Let's see if we can get something out of this now. This is good. You gotta be a little skeptical at this point though, because when the markets do this, people will hop on later on and just start slamming the sell because they're scared. So you still have a stampede that you're fighting here. We got a little bit of runway here though. Let's see what we can get out of this, if anything. It's all good, I just miss some part of each stream. Yeah. I mean, I have the ultimate say when the VODs get released. I just, you know. Probably like a day or two. We'll probably do 2 days after or something like that. I don't know. Alright, let's look at the 12-hour liquidation heat maps. Let's see if we got any really aggressive shorters coming in. No, not that much, honestly. We want to see more aggression from the short sellers here. All the AI bots are down now. But sir, AI trading is going to take over the market. Well, at least all the commercial AI bots are down on their ROI. But hey, I told you, Gemini's making that comeback, baby. Gemini was in last place, and now it's at number 2. Gemini making the comeback. Look at that. The American AIs are fighting back against the Chinese AI. Oh, you guys can't really see it. The American AIs are fighting back against the Chinese AIs here. The comeback is coming. Funding rates. We got positive on Biddy, but the alts are flipping negative. A good amount of the alts. Zcash funding rates are at negative 1.6, 0.16. That is insane. Look at the ETH yearly candle. Honestly, it's not that bad. It's just a big spinner. Big Skinner spinner. It could get really bad, though. I'm not saying it can't. Hey, the people that listen to me on ETH when I said bounce from 2100, they're still up right now. So, ETH is pretty straightforward, right? We just have to maintain the high time frame structure. We've done it twice. We can do it a third time. So we got this, you know, these as well at the lower side, and the next one up is here. ETH is in the void right now, so what we're seeing is the true supply and demand of the market. We could see an imbalance of supply and demand where the supply isn't matching the move on the derivative market, right? You've got a lot of liquidations coming in on ETH right now, and that's going to temporarily drive this market down. Now, the question of whether or not it's temporary can only be seen on the price action, can only be seen happen live. So the first step, obviously, for ETH is we need to get back above 34, 35. If we can't do that, then we gotta go hold 29. If we can hold 29, ETH is gonna be back in business. Like I said, ETH is gonna be looking good if it can hold 29.20. That's gonna be a big spot. Sir Urban, how you doing? Hold on. This is how I'm doing. Go like the tweet, boys. It's pinned in the comment section. This is all the SpongeBob's running around. It's that meme I always refer to. But I need to get a way to put it on stream besides just the tweet. Alright, playlist ended. Give me a second. Alright, come on. The next spot to hold, we're just tested it now. This is getting brutal. So on the low time frame, we have to hold that, and we're getting crushed right now. You got some bourbon? No, I'm drinking coffee right now. It's still the morning time. But for ETH at this point, there's not a lot of data for me to work with, guys. We went straight up here on ETH. We are in the fucking void. We're in the void. The beauty of the void is it can show us real supply and demand. So right now the price is going to show us, is there an outweighing of demand? Is this dump only because of the exuberance in the leverage market, in the leverage longs? If it's an actual true move, then we're not going to see a bounce here. Alright, let's take a look, boys. Let's take a look here. Liquidations on ETH in the last 4 hours is outpacing Bitcoin. Let's see. Yeah, it's about neck and neck on liquidations, so big exuberance on the ETH market. Bybit liquidations are higher than Binance. Binance is hiding a lot of those liquidations. Hyperliquid also higher than Binance on liquidations. Fucking Binance is, gift me a sub. Oh, somebody else did that too. Was it, fuck, here you go. I can't remember who did it. Do you want to allow public and... Yeah, sure. There you go. Who was the other one that did it? Does anyone remember? Somebody else in the chat redeemed it as well. Let me see. 4XID, can you say something in the chat so I can gift you the sub? What's up, Town Hall? Okay, nice little short squeeze. Let's keep it going. Alright, there you go. Zcash is taking a hit too now, boys. But Zcash is much more resilient. No marbles right now, guys. This is pretty intense. Zcash is still holding pretty strong, but you do have equal lows now. Okay, this is nice. Next spot to hold now in the structure is here. Okay, it's going well. Traxy redeemed a ticker. Okay, Traxy, but it has to be in theme today because... Oh god, did this one get fucking destroyed? That's why you want me to look at it, huh? Because it got destroyed? Or is it pumping? Oh. Yeah, what do you want me to say about this, Traxy? It's fucking getting destroyed. It found support. Volume's pretty good. At 0? Oh, did it actually tag 0? Boys, it tagged 0.00001. Market makers are keeping up a lot of these alts right now. They're keeping them afloat. ETH is still getting slammed hard here. Bitcoin's trying to mount a defense. We gotta hold this now. We don't want to return to this. Bitcoin needs to hold, or this little microstructure takes another beating. And we go deeper into the void. ETH not really showing too much life here just yet. It's all up to Bitcoin. The hands are in Bitcoin right now for these alts to survive it. Bitcoin's got to do it, or these alts are going to take another huge blow. Okay, so far so good on Biddy here. We've got first test here on local. It was a little sloppier on the second test. You don't really like to see that. Third test is okay. VIX is pumping. Yeah, VIX hasn't hit the big time target yet though. That's my main concern. I really hope I'm wrong about that VIX chart again. Unfortunately, I've been nailing the VIX chart, and it sucks because if I do, it just means that we got more dumping ahead. Alright, let's get a high higher than this high, and then the next spot will be here. A lot of these alts, particularly Solana too, Solana is in free fall. I don't see much support for Solana for a lot lower unless Bitcoin can save the day. The next spot on Solana, where the FOMO rally is okay, we might actually get a little rally on Solana, but I don't trust it. The next spot on Solana is going to be all the way down here at 112. The only way it's not is if Bitcoin fucking pumps it and saves the day right now. Alts are at the mercy of Bitcoin market sentiment. Market makers will not, you know, start to pad the bid side of the book unless we see that movement on Biddy. All right, this is good. So the last hour candle, more market selling has come in. But the price is going up, so we do see some sticky demand here. Let's see, how much of a move did we get out of this? Okay, 100x shorters at the bottom just got squeezed out. Actually, 50xers just got squeezed out too. Okay, we got the new high. Next spot to hold on Bitcoin is here. $101.76. Let him graze, and then defend. Come on, boys, come on! The ball is in Bitcoin's court at this point. This level right here at 100,300 on Bitcoin is coming to us from way, way, way back. Basically the beginning of June earlier this year. That's where we've tagged. So this, I'm gonna make this line thick because that's the high time frame level that we're testing right now. I guess Jim has to wait. Some people are just audio only and they have this open at the gym. I bet you that's where Santa Minis is right now. Santa Minis, what are you doing? Alright, next spot. Come on. We need to maintain the structure here. Liquidity's thinning out. This is pretty decent for a directional market maker. Oh, it's getting slammed a bit. Okay, icebergs are still setting up shop. We're testing it now. Must hold. We have hourly bottom wick coming in 3 minutes. We got to get a little bit away from this level here. Nice. They're fighting for it, boys. They're fighting for it. Oh yeah, I didn't because I didn't really talk about gold today. Thanks, Dan Nebet, for reminding me. Guys, gold's not looking good, man. We needed, so basically this chart is showing if this happened, then this is a good opportunity, but this never, we couldn't even get the short squeeze on gold. Structure doesn't look that good on gold. You're starting to form these equal highs and higher lows. That's no bueno. So you gotta, probably gonna get a new low here on gold. What was your question though? You have shorts at 42. Would you hedge shorts around 34? No, let it come, 34? At this point, since we just moonshot on gold, you got to wait for more structure to develop. So covering shorts on gold is not really in the playbook just yet. I need to see more data. Okay, beautiful. Bitcoin new high, held it at the perfect spot again. Okay, next spot up is here. 101.284. It's building a good, nice little 1 minute structure here. This is nice. The alts are desperate for Bitcoin to carry them right now, boys. They're mounting a defense. They're doing it pretty well, too. This is the last spot to hold, too. If it can hold 101.284, then we should see a nice little pop here. Yeah, and it's, yeah, exactly, Impaler. It's bad timing with the hourly. We got pretty much 1 minute for the hourly close now. Why is the last spot? There's really nothing left in this downward structure. I mean, you could argue 101.7 as well, but yeah. Well, okay, I'll mark out 101.7. But if once we get a high higher than this high, because we went straight down, then we enter the topside void. If we enter the topside void, we could see something explosive. So probably not going to have a retest of 101.7. Okay, books are still a little bit thinner here. It's beautiful structure so far. You just don't want to let it get damaged at this point. They've done an amazing job, but if we start retesting these areas, that's where the structure starts to break down. 3, 2, 1. Hourly close. Bottom wick incoming, maybe? Let's do it early. There we go. Earlier than later. Now it needs to hold this on the bottom wick. Thinner books. Yeah, thinner books means that it's going to be more volatile. It's easier to push around. I mean, it's already pretty volatile, right? Yeah, 101.284 is the next spot. They got to defend. Their structure starts to break a bit. All right, here we go. It just tagged it. You don't really want to get back to these areas. Okay, so pretty much all of the last hour, we definitely had more market selling coming in than market buying. And the price is going up. That's showing some sticky spot demand. That's good. Nice, there we go. Well done. Come on, Biddy. Yeah, we need to maintain the bullish structure. If it doesn't, then we go lower than this low, probably. And then we have some room to breathe down here if that happens. We have a little bit of room to breathe here. Alright, nice. Urban is saving Biddy again with his lines. Yeah, the random lines are saving Bitcoin right now. It's beautiful so far. They have mounted a great defense. It's just what you got to be concerned a little bit about right now is if that next wave of you're gonna have a lot of people come in and try and slam this down because they can use the fear of other market participants to help them push it down. So we're in a really deep battle right now. Yeah, hourly close happened. We already got the bottom wick on it, Tom. You don't want structure to break, man. Equal highs set up too. Oh, it's getting close. Getting close, boys. Come on now. Next hourly will be the 4 hour too, so that's going to be a big one. We got equal highs set up. We should have some, nice. We should have some short sellers dogpiled in the same spot. If we get above this high, we'll see a nice little flood come in. Here it comes. Doesn't look like there's too many people dogpiling into shorts here. Is the 4 hour close important? Yeah. Ideally, we want to close the 4 hour above 100,000 and 372. But with the 4 hour, we'll get another wave of selling coming in for the bottom wick. So 57 minutes on that. But let's see what we can do here. This would be a really important spot. If Bitcoin carries Ethereum here, then that means Ethereum gets bailed out in the void, which shows pretty big demand. But it's still a fight here, boys. We're nowhere near out of the woods. Was all of the yellow circles long opportunities? It depends on how you want to interpret it. If you want to be aggressive and fire it off, then you can. But it's mainly those are illustrating the structure. That's where the battle for the structure is. Come on now. Big flush on liquidity though. So it's basically as long as the 4 hour closed above that failure, we're good to the upside. 1 4 hour is good. It's not a guarantee. 1 4 hour is a start, right? And then the next 4 hour after this one will be the daily. So the daily close below above is a good start too. If you get like 2 dailies above, the probabilities are looking really good. But it's all probabilities, man. There's no we're good, you know, type of thing. I can't say that it's guaranteed to go up if we do X, Y, and Z. But if we do X, Y, and Z, then the probabilities of us going up go up for sure. They're fighting hard here. All right. We just had another test of it there. It's getting bloody. It's a battle right now, boys. You guys are watching this shit happen in real time. There's no delay. Oh, that doesn't look good. Come on. Oh, they just mounted the attack. Shit. Alright. It's broken a little bit here. Yeah, we could. It depends. I mean, a small crack in the structure is not too bad. We can still bail it out, but that's not a good sign to start it off. Come on. Any life here, Bitcoin, any life. Let's look at the S&P too at the same time. It'd be lovely if the S&P wanted to pump right now. Oh, fuck. Come on, Biddy. Come on, Biddy. Do or die. We already saw the first starting to crack a little bit. It's starting to crack a little bit. Not too badly damaged, but that's the first sign is a small crack. Just needs to be repaired quickly. Fuck. You gotta love the passion Urban has for Biddy. Come on, Biddy! Yeah, that first crack in the structure is not a good sign. This is the exact same playbook that was used on the October structure too. The fucking support resistance flip after the first crack. So here come the fucking, here come the vultures on the bear side. They're gonna try and use this as a, they're gonna use the fear to their advantage. Yeah, they're using it to their advantage. We're entering the second crack now. Low time frame div. Oh, on this one? Yeah, it's already complete, Tom. Let's see. Yeah, low time frame div on the 1 minute, but we already cracked these highs. Dead cat bounce, maybe. Structure showing a little bit of weakness on the 1 minute here, boys. You can pin that if you want, Leo. Come on. Bitcoin, the altcoins need you right now. This Ethereum microstructure looks like dog water right here. Yeah. There it goes. Taking some heat, boys. Not looking good. Yep. Bitcoin needs more love, Urban. Dude, I'm a huge fucking lover of Bitcoin. What do you mean? Okay, that's not bad. Okay, just a couple cracks. It's not good to have those cracks because now we gotta fix it, but S&P is kind of dumping a bit more now. It's gonna be even harder to get liquidity providers to support bids here. Yeah, it's taking hits. Gold's still tanking pretty hard here. Yeah, until I see new structure get formed on gold, it's not looking good. Silver actually looks a little bit better here. As long as the S&P doesn't kick above 50, then gold will find a bottom. It shouldn't be too bad. There we go, S&P. Free money for shorts. It's you guys decide what positions you want to take. I'm not gonna fucking hold your hand in that regard. That's the link for the Discord if you're new here and you want to check it out. Get notified when I go live. Yeah, it's complete on this one too, Tom. Oh, you mean the bear div? Yeah, bear div's is this a bear div here? Yeah. It's a little bit of a sloppy one, but okay. We had 2 cracks in structure plus the proper retest on the third one, so there's still a chance here, but it's already looking a bit worse, obviously. You didn't look, you just assumed. Hey, you're getting good at the at looking at divergences, Tom, if you don't actually need the tool to see it. Keep practicing that, Tom. Trust me, it helps you see everything in a relative fashion. And since the market and the price is all relative, it's good to see it all, even if you don't need the tool to help you. Now, most people were bearish yesterday in the chat, or at least the bearish people were the louder ones in the chat yesterday. Yeah. S&P had a nice little bounce there, but Bitcoin barely felt it. The bears are always the loud ones unless it's pumping, then they go missing. I don't know, Moon Boys are pretty loud too, right? I don't know which one's louder. Okay. Bitfinex buys just came in. The Bitfinex whales are here. I feel like the average market sentiment and the sentiment in this community are different. Yeah, Tom, I was hinting at that, but then it sounded like I'd be bragging. Like, the community we built here, most of the time, when the boys are all bearish, there's gonna be a dump coming. But if you were on, like, Twitter and everybody's bearish, that means that it's time for a pump. The Latvian Gem Hunter is about to unleash the 51 caliber. Only the Latvian Gem Hunter can save it at this point. Okay, this is good. Come on. S&P's carrying the fuck out of this Bitcoin move. Because structures showed 2 cracks already. S&P is floating Bitcoin. What's up, Reaper? What are we saying, Irvin? Time to rally up? There's a chance here. There's a chance. It's good to see, in the last hour, we saw more market smashing on the sell side come in, but price went up. So we got some sticky demand from the bots. The bots are following this move a bit here. They could reverse fast, though, so... Okay. Alright, there's not too much short liquidity. We got a couple cracks in, but it looks like it's trying to fight back up, so... Okay, it's building now. We got more short sellers showing up at this spot. It's good, it's good fuel. Plan stays the same, above 100k, good, under bad. We could, like you can see Bitcoin went under 100 here. The area to pay attention to right now, which we already kind of just tested it, is here. It's kind of a sniper level. It's the last stand for the exuberant rally. Like the FOMO rally, this is their last stand pretty much. If this cracks, the FOMO rally cracks, and then we go down to 90, if we can hold 89, 90, then it's, we're back in business. Bitcoin's going back up. This is the FOMO boys' last stand right here, so it's going to be a battle, boys. You can see the orders are just flooding in today. And we're still consolidating in a range, but the orders are still flooding in. ETH longs right now. ETH isn't, the structure on ETH doesn't look too good here. It needs to be bailed out by Bitcoin. Okay, it's rebuilding. This is good. Good. That's good. And that's good. Okay. Come on, Biddy. You already showed some cracks in the structure. You need strength right now. What's up, bro? Crepabelle. The equal highs, Traxy, it's the equal highs. Volume is dried up a little bit on spot market. This is a lot of derivative action coming in. Where the fuck did the spot volume go, dude? Nah, fuck Wyckoff pattern, dude. What are you talking about? This right here? Or are you talking about the high time frame? Biddy will come back. It always does. Yeah, Biddy will come back. I know I'm very high energy today. It's because we're getting big volatility. Bitcoin's not dead, guys. We're fine. But it could get a lot bloodier depending on what happens at 89, 90k if we have to go down there. Couldn't even get the new high there. Come on, Biddy. That's a pretty nice retest for the Bears. Oh, man. Not, looking pretty spooky, boys. Guys, if everybody opens up huge short sells, you'll save Bitcoin. Bitcoin will go back up. The structure is cracked slightly. It's you definitely don't want to see that, but we have hit a pretty high time frame level, right? Like I said, this level comes back to us on the 5th of June. Nothing better than being a bear right now and a long enjoying after Moon Boys got pranked. So you're a bear, but you just longed it here. I mean, this area makes sense, right? This would be the final stand for the FOMO rally. Usually things don't go straight down too, but I mean, it's Bitcoin, right? It can happen. There's no such thing as overbought. There's no such thing as oversold, boys. If we do pop the top here, that's where we have to pay attention again, because shorts will get squeezed, the ones that dogpiled in last second to get squeezed. But shorts getting squeezed is not enough. We need to see the demand actually follow the move on the spot market. Open up the basic one? Okay. Yeah. Volume is too low on the pump. Yeah, volume has dried up pretty hard. Liquidity is still rather thin. You're bearish until 89k? I understand that. But the thing is, even if that's the proper area to bring us back to reality and ground us back into the true ebbs and flows of this chart, it doesn't mean that the FOMO boys can't keep this thing going. Gotta root for the FOMO boys, the Moon boys. Because look at how much they got out of this too. That's pretty good, man. For daily, yeah, we need to get back above the lows here. So this low's pretty good to get back above, but I want a little bit more than that. The low that we really want to get above is like, you know, 103.5. That'd be ideal. But we only have, you know, daily's not too much longer here. 4 hours going to close in 39 minutes. $70k? If we go to 70k, it's GG, man. You don't want to go to 70k. I'm in a stock community. When everyone is hyped about crypto, I'm selling, and when they freak out, like Like now it's time to buy. Yeah, my community is pretty dope though, because most communities you want to do the inverse, but everybody was, well, at least the loudest ones were bearish yesterday before this. Yeah, I agree, champ. If we get anywhere close to 74, we've got some huge equal lows. I mean, we might get a rally from 74, but then it's the fragile market structure on a big way in the bottom side. The stock communities don't move the market. I guess it depends on the market cap, right? A stock community, like a retail stock community, is not going to move the needle on something like Nvidia or anything in the Mag 7, really. I mean, maybe a little bit, but nothing too significant. Although I will say retail has had a pretty big influence on a lot of the markets lately. Guys, Michael Saylor is taking a beating today. Look at MicroStrategy. It's gunning for, it's getting close to sink or swim, because you got fragile structure under here. But if it does get bailed out, if MicroStrategy gets bailed out under 230, like if we see something like that, that's a really good sign. Because what could happen if you go under this is you could go deep C. If you don't go deep C, then that shows that there's an imbalance of supply and demand. That looks pretty good. Okay, we're popping the top here. Now we need to hold it if we pop it. If we go for it, we have to hold it here. Let's go, Biddy. I agree, Morty. Did the boys cover their shorts today? Is that what happened? Looks like Champ and Traxy both covered their shorts on longs here. Where are you boys in from? Just like around here? The Latvian gem hunter is mounting a defense for Bitcoin right now, but there's too many bears. Yeah, ETH dollar looks a little bit worse than Bitcoin. That's, like I said, boys, where we're at right now for the altcoins, including ETH, is they need Bitcoin to carry. Bitcoin has to carry them right now. $101,929. If we get to 101,929, that we'd be above this. That we could see a serious pop because there's some equal highs here. Come on, Biddy, here we go. $101,260 is already cracked. Nice. That's 102 is the next crack. So yeah, above these equal highs, we've got some short sellers dogpiled in. You have to hold it here. A failure here shows really big weakness. And you only got 35 minutes left on it before 4 hour. RSI pushing it to the top. Don't worry about like 1 minute RSIs right now. That's 1 minute RSIs are not a big deal right now. This is high time frame action. This is when the small moving force runs into the big force. At least one of the bigger forces. Not the ultimate big force, but definitely a big one that's been, you know, the FOMO rally pretty much in the last since the summertime. The summertime structure is under fire, but not the last year and a half structure still hasn't been tested yet. Though allots 625 million for computing research. There's no way that's all we get. Alright. If they took anywhere from a 50x to 100x short, they just got fucking destroyed there. Hey, you know what's a good sign though? CoinGlass isn't down. You guys remember early October on the 10th? CoinGlass was down. Okay, we got even more shorts coming in now. Shorts are starting to pile in here at 102.1. So just above this, shorts are dogpiling in above this line. If that's all we get off this whole structure we just built, that's pathetic. RSI indeed mattered. Not on the 1 minute, no. Not right now, dude. If we were in the middle of the range somewhere, it would matter more. The influence on like a 1 minute RSI is, you know, like oversold right now or overbought. No. By the way, my graph skills got so much better thanks to your advice to keep minimal indicators. Yeah, I mean, indicators are just gonna add a lot of noise. No problem, man. Look how much you can get from just the candlesticks. Fuck, man, is that it? 30 minutes and then like 45 seconds. So many bids waiting to be filled at 97, 98. I don't really care about those bids too much. I mean, yeah, we have a big iceberg that's set up shop, and we got some more down here, like you're saying. You think we're going to 97 today? Maybe. 97 is acceptable, but it'll break a lot of things if we go to 97, because then we enter the big void. In fact, if we go to 97 today, we could see a huge slam. Urban, are you into audio? Can Jam is happening in LA. When I was younger, yeah. Volume is dried. Where the fuck did the volume go, man? Hourly's fighting for it right now. It's hovering on a spinner. Okay, flip red there. All right. Not looking too good here, boys. Tom, what do you think? Do you think we get a hourly bull div in this void here? Actually, it's pretty low likelihood that we get one. It'd be hard to get a bull div on anything. Even an hourly is kind of asking for a lot here. Okay, we got more market buying that's come in the last 30 minutes, but the price is red on the candle. How many short liquidations was that move even going for? It's not even that much, Jesus Christ. Yo, get the machine guns running, SKs. The Coinbase whale is back, by the way. Yesterday there was a Coinbase whale just fucking trying to save this shit. It was a good battle, but, you know, they ultimately lost it, as you can see. Price went red big time after. Yeah. Alright, boys. We could get another wave of carnage. What is PML? Is that inner circle or something? Previous monthly low. The only monthly stuff I kinda like is monthly closes and opens. Other than that, not really a big fan. Same thing with weeklies too. But if it works for you, man. Bro, Sama been lifting. Guys, I'm telling you, you do not want to go to the 70k ranges. 70k ranges mean we could be in a bear market for all of 2026. You don't want 70k. You want to hold at 89. We could get, you're not wrong, we could get a bounce from the 70k ranges, but any bounce that we get all the way down here, I get skeptical of. Because then pretty much everybody in 2025 has the same long invalidation at that point. You want to hold it here at 89. Yeah, but Reaper, if you use indicators, a lot of the time they're just gonna lag on you. If you know how to work with them, some people are pretty good with them if they spend enough time, but... What's Sailor's liquidation price? Sailor has claimed that he doesn't have one. I mean, he's obviously not using leverage, but in terms of, like, the borrowing and stuff. Keep it minimal. Yeah, honestly, I would even... There's some guys in here who have done well with moving averages, but I'm not a fan of moving averages, man. The thing about moving averages is by the time they've crossed up, it's too late anyways. Fuck. Okay. Yeah, you might have a point on the MACD. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it. The Latvian gem hunter is defending 100,800. Good luck, man. Is this really all we fucking got from that? So this whole structure we just built here, this is all we get from it. Come on, man. That's dog water. Yeah, they can't stop the fucking selling. This is bloody. You can see us sweeping at 79k to put a Head and Shoulders neckline and then rip the shorts, playing the shoulder for the new highs. Guys, there could be a rally in the 70k ranges, because there's usually those equal lows that play out a lot in pretty much since the late 2023. I'm telling you, man, if you want this thing to make new all-time highs, you really don't want to go there. Sure, you'll get a nice rally, right? But will that rally have legs to it to take it to new all-time highs? I'd be more skeptical. Bull run will only begin after XRP's back at 50 cents. Dude, bears are in euphoria today. Woman in red has been a bear for a while. They're in euphoria. Hey, woman in red, when you flip from bearish to bullish, can you change your name to woman in green? $32k, then 130k. You guys, you can't zoom that. Nobody knows if we're going to 32k. Gotta say, this is one of the most organized alt season Twitter pump I've ever seen. Yeah, there hasn't really been much of a fucking... And I know, but you guys call for crazy numbers. Like, I don't even know if we're gonna go to 89, 90k yet. Because this is the first step. What you're watching right here is the first step. If this breaks, then we can talk about lower. If the next one breaks, then we can talk about lower. But nobody fucking knows where the bottom is right now. Nobody knows where the top is. That far out is just, like, really hard spec. The other question you have to ask yourself right now is, how come this low wasn't deeper? You know? Like, when you look at the relative volatility, how come we didn't go deeper here? You know, because you saw those orders flooding in, right? You saw the books get slammed hard with sells. But you would expect it to go a little bit deeper, but it didn't. Okay, that's a hold. That's a hold. Alright, next spot now is this one. We have to get above the... We have to crack these highs, and then we have to hold this at 100,600. So if we get above this, it flips green. I think because of the event in the October flash crash there. Yeah, I mean, that was some sussy stuff from Binance. This guy, Urban, talks just like my ex. Whatever happens, he keeps talking about deeper. Alright, what kind of percentage move from the low are we looking at here? At least from the swing of it. Okay, if they shorted the bottom with 100x, they just got cracked. If they shorted the bottom with 50x, they get cracked there. So maybe a little something like this, if we can get some fucking optimism back in this chart. No matter how many lines you draw, it's over, brother. Yeah, I can delete a lot of these ones, because this one's already done, right? Structure broke here. Yeah, I'll clean up the chart a bit. Let me change the playlist. Hold on one second. Okay, we got... Is that a new high? Almost new high. Okay. There we go. It's cleaned up now. So yeah, pretty much these ones for the bears. Okay, 50xers just got popped. Let's see what kind of liquidations we're looking at here, boys. Still 93% long, dude. There we go. $19 minutes till new hourly. Yep, it's not a 4-hour though, so that's nice. You're done scalping for the day and now you want marbles? There's a fucking war going on right now. What do you mean marbles? The battle continues, boys. We're back above 100 though. Almost at 101 now. Mr. Iceberg had a pretty big machine gun, dude. Oh, we got a new iceberg showing up on sell side at 101.1. That's a fucking greedy iceberg. ETH just cracked the new highs. You don't really want to fail here on ETH, so maybe we don't even want this on Bitcoin to pull back for the next retest of it. Because a failure here on ETH, it's a pretty insignificant higher high. It really needs Bitcoin right now, guys. Still, more selling. So in the last 45 minutes, we've had more selling, but the price is rebounding. Accumulation demand is sticky. There's a big one. Did the iceberg just get cracked? I think it did. Iceberg just got cracked, it looks like. Topside one. Tom, did we get any bull divs off that new low? I guess I can check. Oh, we got a 15-minute bull div. Okay, we can target the highs. Fuck these red lines. Come on. So, short liquidations above here. Jeez, what a fucking crazy day, man. What a crazy day. The bears had us sweating there. 15 minutes on new hourly. We'll probably give the retest on the next structure. The October flash crash sort of just showed that a lot of the float is determined by market makers, and a lot of the market participants in crypto, the retail market participants, love the market order button way more than they like the limit order button. 250k is gonna feel so good after this bloodbath. Alright, so if we do go low again, we need to maintain the structure. We cannot show any cracks on this thing. This will be red until we can get above it, then I'll make it green again. Bitfinex whales are stepping in here. What do you think about the Asia session? They could panic sell? Yeah, we could still see some aftershocks on this thing. The Tokyo session boys are still sleeping. Their phones might have been buzzing with fucking alerts going off after all this action, though. Who here is from Asia and still awake? If Sushi was here, Sushi's... I think Town Hall is also from it. Town Hall and Sushi, I think, are both from Asia. And we have a couple people from... a couple Aussies, but I don't know if they're here today. Oh, Yamasuki just followed. There's a... Yeah, Legacy does close soon. You're right, cancel. That honestly might be a good thing, dude. The timing. I know, I was asking if there's Asian traders in here, and then somebody named Yamasuki just followed. It's all lining up. What the fuck is this song, dude? Dude, there's a bear dancing on this fucking playlist. The bear does have some moves, though. The Asians have 2 red buttons. Instead of a green or red, they just have 2 reds. The Europeans are probably hands off on the day right now, so it's kind of the ball's in the American court right now. All right, do we play a little bubble? Do you think Lil Bubble will bail out Bitcoin here? Is it all over? One step at a time. One step at a time, boys. European here? Yeah, like half the chat is European. I just mean the European market makers are probably, they're either working overtime or they're clocked out. But the Pump It Up song? Dude, imagine if the Pump It Up song fucking crashes it out right now. That's why Magic wants me to play it. Alright, come on now. We gotta hold soon. Number is 100,627. Let's see if we can hold the next test of the structure first. Okay, spot volume's kicking up again. This is good. Don't crack the fucking structure. Don't do it. Alright, there's the test. How are you? I didn't know you had emotions. What, I'm a robot? Hey, sometimes there's big action, dude. Come on, Biddy, right now. What's up, Scarlet Divine? Thanks for the follow, Pavel. Pavel. Hold this or structure breaks again, dude. Motherfucker. I guess we didn't have high time frame of 103 though. Alright, there's even more shorts dogpiling at 102 right now. So yeah, new spot for longs is starting to pile up at 98.7. Shorts is above 102. You really hope the bulls hold here so you can add on to your shorts. Magic, I think you're the bearish bear. You're the most bearisty of bears. Fucking Berenstein bears. Now we gotta get above the red line and then a flip screen. We can't crack this structure. I mean, we could get the three-legged monster on the 15, but I don't really want to risk that because it could break it. Hold the county line, boys. Dude, it's just such an onslaught of fucking fear coming in, man. This is such a fucking battle. Yeah, pop the top and then close above it, yeah. Because that's the next... I mean, we're still challenging this part of the structure, but if this does hold, then the next step up is at 101. It's above 101. If any of this cracks, though, it could mean new low, lower than this one. Lower than 99.5 if any of these crack. We didn't really get a high time frame test of 101, or I'm sorry, 100,300, so that could technically save it and rebuild it, but I don't like to be in a position where we need to rebuild it. It just gets scary at that point. So we could hold it here and it'd still be okay. I don't know, we'll see. But if this doesn't hold, then there's a really good chance we're gonna go under that. And then topside stuff, I used to have red lines up here, but we printed a pretty solid looking divergence there. The thing about it is, it's weird. There's not a lot of people just dogpiling into shorts. Like right now, you'd expect with all these huge drawdowns across the board that more people would be getting short right now. Like, where's all the fucking dumb retail people going short? I guess after 4 years of bull market, only the most sophisticated bears survive, so they're probably... The bears that still remain probably don't want to deviate from their principles. I think as far as psychology goes, the fact that I don't see strong buys here makes me feel like big players are still waiting for a lower low to buy it. Yeah, normally you just want to spring back up, right? You don't really like to hover too long, that's not good. But, I mean, you guys know where to look, right? It's 89. If this whole thing breaks down and we go to the danger zone, then this is it right here. The must hold. But there's a lot of hunters at play right now, dude. There's a lot of people looking at the fucking chart and trading it. A lot of the market makers are all battling right now. You're gonna have small time MMs try and hunt right now. It's an opportune moment for small time MMs to hunt, at least the directional based ones, not the delta neutral ones. Because they can use the fear on their side. Scalper's paradise if you have strict risk management. I agree. Yeah. It's just times like these is the times that you have to wait a while for, hitting high time frame levels like this one. As a first-time Bitcoin buyer, is this a time to buy? You gotta make those decisions yourself, man. Because the thing is, if I say yes and it goes down, you're just gonna get mad. And if I say no and it goes up, you're gonna get mad. But it depends on what kind of approach do you want to do. So there's like 3 categories, right? You could be a trader, which is the most difficult. You could be an active investor, which is like, you know, fairly difficult, or you could be a passive investor. If you're a passive investor, you want a DCA. If you're an active investor, you want to wait for super critical moments like 89K. If you're a trader, then, you know, if you're going passive, then you want a DCA. So whatever money you've set aside to buy Bitcoin, you don't buy it all in one clip, right? You buy a little bit periodically. I'll answer absolutely not. You want to know the truth since you're new? You want to know what the truth is that people won't tell you? Nobody knows 100% where it's going to go next. Nobody. People will claim they do. There's no shortage of people that will claim they know where it's going next. But it's all probabilities, man. So it could be likely to go higher, it could be likely to go lower, but the key word there is likely. There's no guarantee that it's going to go higher or that it's going to go lower. That's a lesson you should learn. That's one of the first lessons you should learn in investing and trading. That is the truth of the market. It's impossible to know for 100% where it's going to go. It's all for... As a trader, I trade in probabilities, man. I understand the fact that I can be wrong, and I position myself for the event that I am wrong. It's not even about being right or wrong. It's just... You know, sometimes you go all in with pocket aces, and sometimes you lose with pocket aces. That's the reality of it. Alright, last chance bailout here at 100,300, otherwise the low could get cracked. The other thing that you should understand is that most of the time, news has an effect if it's really major news. Only if it's major news, right? Like, say, like, the US declares war on China or something like that. That would affect the market. But small-time news stuff, it doesn't really have that much of an effect. Because there's ebbs and flows to the market, right? It's like a rhythm. Huge news events can disrupt that rhythm, but anything less than that, it doesn't disrupt the rhythm that much. Do the texts matter for these scenarios? TradingView shows strong sell. A lot of that stuff is based off indicators, and indicators lag. Indicators aren't terrible, though. There is some validity to using indicators. It's just, it's not as good as the price action. So sometimes you'll see, like, TradingView will tell you strong sell, right? And then it'll pump, and then it'll say strong buy, and then it'll dump, right? So you got to pay attention to that kind of stuff. Honestly, if you really want to get good at understanding where the market goes next, you have to look at where the most amount of leveraged market participants lose at the same time. That is likely where the price is going to go. Okay, so because it provides liquidity, and it also can create a temporary movement in price. Like this, for instance. When these kind of things happen, I ask myself a question. Why did we not go lower? Why did we not go lower there? We still could. We still could go lower. Anything's possible. But when liquidity gets flushed, right? So look at this chart here. You see this bright yellow? This bright yellow is showing you where leveraged traders get liquidated. So they're borrowing against their principal or their margin to get more, right? And if they're gonna borrow against it to get more, at some point, if it goes too far against them, the person they're borrowing from will say, you got to cut the position. And it's automatic. It's not, there's no phone calls anymore. There's no margin call. It's automatic cut in crypto. So when these events happen, you have to ask yourself, why didn't we go further? Now it's more complicated than that because, you know, we could have the Asians wake up in a, you know, later today and we could see a huge panic in the Tokyo session. So anytime you make you test an extremity, right? You test an outlier in the data set, like this low or this high. That's where you want to pay attention. And there either is going to be an opportunity there or there's not. An opportunity is usually if, okay, why didn't we go lower? And if we go up here and we see something like this, why didn't we go higher? And what is high enough and what is low enough to deem something as significant or insignificant? It's based off the action in the past. So what has the relative volatility been? How much movement has there been in the past? So it's all relative. It's not like I can give you like a perfect model that's founded in percentages. It literally depends on what's happened in the past. Where do you think we bounce? Well, we need to bounce here if we're gonna go for it. If we don't bounce here, then we challenge the structure, and then we could go lower than this low. I thought we could get something going here, but looks like it's breaking a bit. Here's your sub. Pleasure doing business, guys. Where do I send that Bitcoin, Urban? Let chat decide. Alright, first person in chat to ask for a ticker, I'll look at it. We can all look at it together. And you can see my thought process on how I analyze things. If it's a big enough coin, you can use similar analysis on coins that you do care about. Sheeb? Oh god. This thing is still alive. Alright. Let's have a look. So if you don't know, this is one of the OG meme coins before the meme coin mania. In fact, years ago when I was in Las Vegas and I was playing roulette, and I told the dealer, or the roulette dealer, I don't know, that I'm into crypto, he told me to buy Sheeb. And I told him to be careful, but hopefully he sold some. Anyways, alright, so first off, it obviously dumped with the rest of the market early in October, but it doesn't have good volume off the dump. That's a red flag. So first red flag I see is that we had the dump, right? But where is the fucking volume? Where is the volume on the dump? That's a bad sign. Let's see. Pretty good fluidity before the pump. Had the volume come in after. Okay, that held. So I'm looking for previous areas where people got flushed out of their longs and there was a conviction on liquidity. So this is all the way back for the perpetual contracts all the way back in 2023. We don't really want to test it again. Okay. Alright, let's see what's happening locally on this thing. I don't trade Sheeb, just so everyone's aware. Alright, you had good fluidity. Stop losses for longs all in the same spot here. That's no bueno. Alright, so the path to recovery for this bad boy is it's got to regain the previous lows. So we got to get above... God, this thing is... How many zeros is that? I'm not going to read that number. You got to get back below the lows that you created on October 17th. If we can do that... this one's kind of difficult, actually. Okay. Good fluidity, but it's already done. Okay, you got stack liquidity at the highs. That's good. So short sellers are dogpiled in here. There was good fluidity, so obviously it dumped. So for this bad boy, you need to revert back to the mean to some sort here. So if it can do this, it doesn't mean buy it here. Wait for the pullback. I mean, this thing has got terrible market sentiment. Something like this. This is where you'd want to wait. So first you need to see it start to revert back to the mean. Probably testing like an SR or something like that. And engulfing would be ideal, but it looks pretty difficult to get that. But yeah, something like that. And if you're looking to short it and you have holdings on it, that's already all done. All that liquidity stack. So you're looking at something that's pretty much untested here, which is the previous clearing of short liquidity. So you had short sellers dogpiled in here, taken out here. We never had the retest of it. So say you do buy it and it works out and it's climbing. I don't know how that's going to look because obviously it's impossible to know, but then you could look to take a hedge on it and bet against it here. So it's going well. If this all goes well, you're making money, and then you want to protect your money that you made, then you can look to short it or take profits around here. This is already done too, so that's good. You should get a squeeze above here. Worst case scenario is you enter the void, so see how we went straight down, right? This is where the final short sellers are after the early October crash. If we go here and you just see a complete failure, that looks really bad. Because that's an imbalance of supply and demand in the void after squeezing out short sellers. So hopefully you can make it up to at least here. But you might get turbulence around here. You just don't want to have it fall below the previous high if it does manage to get above. It basically shows that the price spiked because a bunch of short sellers got knocked out at the same time. So the derivative markets will temporarily pump up and the spot markets will follow that because of liquidity provision. But then there won't be enough actual demand buying actual spot coins to hold that price where it's at. So then you'll see it flip around. and seeing any kind of imbalances of supply and demand after you've pretty much tagged all the lows with no fucking volume on the dump, that's bad news. Yeah, that's Sheeb. That coin is dead. Alright, GG's, boys. Like I said, can you make sure that you don't dump Bitcoin? We need to revive Bitcoin, or else the alt markets are done for. Can I get your opinion on VIX before you end? Yeah, VIX is pretty simple. So this chart, if you're a crypto boy and you don't care about legacy, this chart is the volatility index for the S&P 500. It pretty much is the most important chart that you can look at, and it does affect the crypto markets, because you've probably heard the buzzword Wintermute before. Wintermute being a liquidity provider, market maker, you know, whatever you want to call it. Some of their models are based off of how the S&P moves. So let's say like the S&P is dumped. Like if you looked at like the stock market next to Bitcoin, you can see like when the stock market's going down, Bitcoin's likely going down. It's because a lot of those models are built off that. So this is showing the volatility in the stock market. If there's high volatility in the stock market, that usually means that it's dumping. High volatility doesn't mean that it can also mean that it's going up, but historically with the stock market, it usually means that it's dumping. So I'm expecting another kick up on volatility on the stock market, which would mean that we could see some more turbulence on the crypto markets. If we do see more volatility on the stock market, we want to see that start to taper off around 22 to 23, because that's where the next pocket is. I called this one here. It's in the recordings. You can go see it from earlier in the month if you want to see me talk about it before it actually happened, because right now it's in retrospect. This is the next area I'm looking for. If we get a strong rejection on volatility around 22 to 23, stock market will start to go up very, very nicely. And then that will help crypto markets go up as well, as liquidity providers won't be as hesitant to retreat on the bid side of the books. If all of that sounded really convoluted and a lot of jargon, you might have to rewatch it, or, you know, ask ChatGPT what the fuck I just said in simple terms, because I don't really want to go through all of it. I have plenty of times in the past, but... Alright. GG, fellas. Remember, use good risk management. Make sure you have stop losses. Wait for the price to come to you. Remember, there's always another opportunity on the charts. You never have to chase the charts, okay? Let the price come to you. There'll always be another opportunity. You don't need to grab every single fucking move. So be patient. Remember, gains compound over time. You don't need one monster meme coin trade to get you your Lamborghini. You can take your time, use good risk management, and slowly build the account. Percentage gains compound over time. Chase the dragon, it's not going to catch itself. Yeah, exactly. But everything I just said, forget about that. Go all in, 1000x leverage on your favorite meme coin. You'll be fine. Not financial advice. Alright, let me get some GGs in the chat, boys. Can you look at AAVE? Next stream, remind me to. I'll probably be live tomorrow. If you want to get notified when I go live, join the Discord, which is here. And I'll probably start tweeting now when I go live, so you can check that out too if you want. I'll probably start doing that, so either join the Discord or follow me on Twitter. You'll get notified when I go live. It's usually the same time every day, so whatever your local time is right now, just subtract 4.5 hours from your local time, and that's usually when I go live. I could still be busy in the market or busy with IRL stuff, which I wouldn't be live, but... Market crash gets viewers, let's keep dumping. No, it's kind of weird today. I think somebody shilled my stream. Like some influencer must have shilled my stream or something, because there's more people coming in here today. I think people are telling their friends about the stream and stuff like that too. I don't know. Anyways, if you're an OG here, don't worry. I still remember your guys' name if the stream gets bigger and bigger. Traxy's done for the day, right? Traxy, you're done for the day, so you're not streaming. Is Traxy streaming or no? If not, then I'm just gonna end it, no raid. Not live? Okay, thanks, Tom. If I have VIP slots, I should give one to you, Tom. There you go, Tom. You got the VIP badge now. Alright, GG, fellas. Ooh, I should close us out with a good song. I'm gonna close us out with Lil Bubble. I need to play a bullish song, otherwise by the time I'm live next time, Bitcoin's gonna be dead. So we're gonna play a Michael Saylor classic. Here we go, and this will close out the stream.